Welcome to Behind the Claw. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. So last week, these guys have been tooling around, helping Penny, otherwise known as Lord Farnham, Penford Farnham Blinderby, and Penny has allowed them to, um, or invited them rather, to stay at his manor on Elizabeth in one of the agrodomes, and he's more or less the nobleman, feudal lord of Elizabeth, which isn't really saying much, considering that Elizabeth is little more than a backwater fuel stop for most ships. And last week, uh, Penny sent them on a uh, he's clearly ADD. He jumps from one thing to the next, and he dropped everything concerning his desire to build a golf course to attract tourists to Elizabeth. Because his solar sailing yacht came in and was delivered, and was taking up a berth at the Imperial Shipyard's naval station around the large gas giant. And so he lent these guys a ship, and they went and retrieved it, much to the annoyance of the Imperial Navy crew at the station, because his ship's been sitting there taking up dock space. And so they weathered the annoyance of the port authority quite well, and then made their way back. And once they have returned, they discovered that Penny has been having a long distance by mail, export mail relationship with one. Oh, now I need to find her name. Glorinna. Her name is Glorinna. Here.
Yeah, it was that damsel in distress he was
Yes.
messaging with,
Yes.
who might be the princess of that one planet.
She. Not that one. Sorry. Finding it. Here she is. Glorinna Farella. She is, um, more or less, she's a princess, um, and now the sole heiress, or at least it's presumed to be the sole heiress of of Tarkine. If I can get there, we go. Wow, this is laggy tonight. And so she's the princess of Tarkine. Tarkine had um, was a royal family that was ruling it. Here it is, right there. And evidently, there was a coup that was orchestrated by General Kang Ladro, who was the leader of the Royal Companions Regiment of the Royal Guard, and he displaced her father. Her father has not been seen nor heard from since the coup, and presently, General Kang Ladro has put into function a junta that has taken over and is ruling Tarkine. The the feeling that you get from news agencies, and these guys did see a news article on this, is that the general population is not overall happy with this rebellion, and really wanted, most of the people on the world are royalists. They want the royalty put back into position. Everything was fine the way it was. But there is a lot of um, there's a lot of speculation that there were outside parties that kind of pushed this into action. And so, looking at this, Zerzy knows that this is exactly the kind of thing that Jodani intelligence would kind of orchestrate and has orchestrated in the past. And usually the way they do it is they use a third party freedom fighting terrorist group known as the Ein Gevar. And but in this case, it's not certain that the Ein Gevar would be really. They may not actually be involved because Tarkine is so far in towards the border with the um, Third Imperium. The Ein Gevar may not be involved, although that's not it's not an impossibility, but more than likely this is some other group. And so Zerzi's kind of aware that this is the kind of thing that they would do. And it seems that there are certain aspects of it that just reek of Jodani intelligence having their hand in it. At any rate, Penny, Lord Blinderby, has been kind of courting Princess Glorinna Farella, and she sent him a message directly to him on Elizabeth, requesting money because she needs cash. Obviously, all of her assets would be frozen under the circumstances, and she needs cash in order to bribe the starport officials in order for her to get off planet. And Penny has kind of presented this to the travelers as kind of a request, wanting to know if they would assist and go get her. He's worried about her under the current circumstances. And so that's kind of where we left it. He told them he understood if they didn't want to, and then promptly left the room for the night. And they are kind of sitting around the table where we're picking up, sitting around the table before they head to bed, discussing this situation, probably drinking some of Lord Farnham Blinderby's very expensive liquor as they discuss this. And so that's where we'll be picking up. So, sitting around the table, this is the situation. Now, here's the thing. So, about 3 days have gone. 3 days? Yeah, probably about. Yeah, it's probably about almost 4 days has gone by in the amount of time of traveling to go to the large gas giant, pick up the solar sailing yacht, come back. Um, so it's maybe a little over 3 days has gone by in that amount of time. The solar sailing yacht certainly does not travel quickly, and so it took a little bit longer to get back than it did traveling there. And Penny has already said that he would pay for um, any passage that you could obtain to get to Tarkine. And so, I mean, Tarkine is 1, 2, 3. It's 3 parsecs away, but it is presently amber zoned because of the political situation. So the Travelers Aid Society has put up an amber zone warning that things are not stable on Tarkine, and travelers are advised to, or warned. They're not necessarily advised to stay away, but they are warned of this, that situation on Tarkine is not excellent. However, there is an Imperial Naval. Is it Imperial Naval? Maybe not. What's the triangle? I wanted to say that there's a naval base there, but I don't think there is. I think the naval base is a star. Key. Oh, it's a scout base. There's a scout base present in Tarkine, which that tracks. Um, Being kind of on the edge of, it's on a main, uh, but other than that, there's kind of not much out here. So it is considered an imperial protectorate, but this is an excellent example of how the Third Imperium works. Even if Tarkine was inside the imperial border, it's very unlikely that, at least to begin with, that the imperial forces would come in and pacify the situation. And the reason for that is that part of the charter of being a part of the Third Imperium, or really being, in more so, being a protectorate of the Imperium, is that um, the Imperium protects the space between worlds. They protect shipping lanes. They protect financial interests, and they leave the world to their own ends. So the world can basically govern themselves however they want. Now, that of course is pushed and pulled in multiple directions, especially if there's an imperial noble that has holdings on the world. That can be pushed and pulled, but the likelihood of imperial marines dropping onto the world in the middle of this rebellion is highly unlikely. Something would have to really piss the Imperium off, such as if Tarkine had some major export that couldn't be got anywhere else, or that trade lanes were endangered. None of that has happened so far, and so the Imperium, the way they look at it, is like, oh, it's another backwater world having yet another civil war. Don't worry, it'll settle itself. And so the likelihood of the Empire coming in and doing anything about it is nil. And the Imperials have not, the Third Imperium has not listed Tarkine as being a red, or a red zone. It's just listed as a neighbor zone. They don't care. So it is entirely up to you guys. The other thing to keep in mind is that Tarkine is not on your way. And so you're looking at a minimum of 1 week of jump time there and 1 week back. Your guys' shuttles are slated to be in the dry docks for about 2 weeks, roughly, at Elizabeth. That could very likely turn into 2.5, maybe 3 weeks, because Elizabeth is a backwater. Their high port is a Class B starport, though, and so fixing small craft like this shouldn't be a major issue for them. So it's not on your way. You would have to, if you went by yourselves, you would be gone for probably, with 2 weeks of jump time, you're probably looking at a total of about 3 weeks away, which you would have to request that Magnus stay and wait for you, or you could meet him at his next location. Now, the next location on his jump pattern is Grote. So, I mean, if Penny's willing to pay for it, you could just come back and catch up with him at Grote. It's up to you, however you want to do it. Now, this is, of course, something that you could technically come back to later. If you come back later, there's no guarantee that Glorinna will be alive, or that the situation on Tarkine won't have degraded in some way. So, talk amongst yourselves on what you want to do. Yeah, you are right. You know what's really valuable in places undergoing a civil war? Guns, but and food,
medical supplies.
medical supplies.
So Casimir says, I mean, yeah, he says, if Lord Penny wishes to tie himself matrimonially, I pity the man, but of course, that's his prerogative. But carrying medical supplies to the right people and weapons to the other kind of right people, or perhaps the same right people. It's an opportunity.
I mean, you could even you could probably even talk if you're talking about selling medical supplies. If it was handled delicately with Magnus, you might even get the entire ship to jump to Tarkine if he thought that he was A, doing good, and B, making a profit. Because those two
Yeah,
things for him seem to be of utmost importance. He wants to help people and he wants to make money.
we can do both.
Send the scanner on a humanitarian mission.
But we're going to be going off course, and I have a strong inkling this may be my empire's doing, and if it is, I don't know if I want to interfere with it.
Well, I mean, we don't have to interfere with it. We can just we can just act in the most impartial way possible, which is to say, simply, presumably there are still hospitals that will need medical supplies, and then presumably there are still well-connected people that will get weapons to where they are needed.
So
well-connected Imperials.
I don't know if we should pick a side.
The one thing that Magnus has brought up multiple times in the past, and I don't think Casimir would know about this, but I know that Xerxes and that at least Xerxes remembers this, is that Magnus is very adangst. He's against bringing weapons anywhere. He doesn't want to trade in weaponry. Medical supplies and food, however, he would be amenable to that. But he's stated at least 4 times no weapons, and he went so far as to shoot down an idea when they were at. I have to backtrack here so that I can remember the name.
Was it the Fallout World?
Yes.
One?
Yes, I want Cardin, maybe Pandaria.
Because we were talking about,
I think it was Pandaria,
nuclear missiles or whatever.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to purchase nukes, and he kind of shot that down. No pun intended.
Well, no, I mean, of course, nukes are forbidden nukes are forbidden, of course, but
yeah, and that whole thing has caused all sorts of problems. The fact that they even pulled into port there has caused problems along the way in a number of Imperial starports simply because they stopped there. So he's very anti dealing in weapons. That's not his bag, but he perfectly happy to deal in electronics, machinery, food, medical supplies. If you guys can get Penny to put up the money for medical supplies. In fact,
yeah, Audrey would want to bring aid to the people and also rescue the princess.
So
and bring her back to this planet.
So Skander is already carrying 100 tons of medical supplies.
Ooh.
My issue is we have to look at the big picture. We already know there's a lot of tension rising between the empires. We were just doing some questionable legal stuff at Nitron. And now there's going to be a Sword World merchant cruiser appearing in a civil war that potentially has Jodani involved also.
Sounds like a fantastic opportunity to make some money, and it because of all the factions that are in play, it'll be harder to pin anything on us.
That's true too. I mean, the Sword World's historically now this news blurb that they saw, of course, they didn't say that. They said that there was a suspicion of third-party involvement. Outsiders came in and prompted this a-hole into what's his name again? General Kang Ladro into performing this coup. They didn't say anything about the Jodani. It was Zerzi who kind of watched this TNS news blurb and said, "Oh, that sounds familiar."
We also have to consider that we've yet to face any repercussions about the incident on Nitron. We did, well, we's a loose word, but we did fuck up an Imperial ship, and I'm sure that that captain has definitely been talking to others, and I would not be surprised if eventually we see some sort of response because of it.
Perhaps, but again, okay. How about this? Let me go. Let me try. Let me go talk to some people. Out of character, I do have Streetwise, so let me go see if I can hit up some people that might be interested in deploying in bringing anti-healing supplies. Let's call them that. Anti-healing supplies over to Tarkine, and if there are people that are interested, they can pitch the idea to me. I can pitch it to you, and we can settle this.
You're wanting to ship weapons, even though
I
it's
th- I don't think it should be the only thing we ship, and I think the amount of weapons we ship should be limited.
I
But at
don't
the
think
same time, making a good contact among the underworld arms smugglers is a good idea, and a potentially very profitable.
what about Magnus, or what about if the Imperial stop us and say, "Hey,
Well,
why is your ship shipping weapons to
No, no, no,
the
no, no, no,
Magnum
no.
we
Colony?"
can't do it in the scanner, but we can do it in a different ship.
Well, we can do it in a different ship. I'm my my G car has it has a cargo trunk. Are they really going to check every single one of our sub vehicles, assuming we get stopped by Imperials? This isn't even Imperial space, come to think of it.
That's true.
So
I
I think
have
look.
my
I'm not. I'm not saying.
reservations.
I'm not saying we carry enough weapons to outfit a small army. No, of course not. That'd be stupid. We don't have the capacity for it. But if we were to carry, you know, several suitcases worth of automatic weapons, ammunition, maybe. I don't know. Maybe just ammunition. But again, let me go. Let me see. Let me see what I can find. I'll present my findings to the crew, and then we can do it bypassing Magnus if his sensibilities are so delicate.
The other thing to also keep in mind is that Tarkine is a holding of the world Dahlia, which is 1 parsec rimward. Not that really plays too much into it. I don't remember much about Dahlia. What does it say? If it says anything at all. It says their site's having technical difficulties. Okay. Of course it is.
Excellent.
Of course it is. Let's see what this
So,
says.
All I'm saying is, if we go there and if we run into any kind of Jodani, I'm not fighting against them.
I you wouldn't have to. Well, okay. Almost certainly you wouldn't have to. I'll find. Again. Let me suss out what's available. If there's something available, it'll be a simple delivery, and we won't have to step on any toes.
So it says that Dahlia is a pre-ag, moderate population, rich garden world. Has over 100 million people, uh, but not yet a billion. Uh, it is also a client state of the Third Imperium. weather tends to be a little chilly. It is a tundra world with a climate of low temperatures, but it's considered a garden world. Interesting. Oh, well that's interesting too. So Dahlia not only controls Tarkine, but Elixabeth is a holding. The planet you are on is a holding of Dahlia as well.
Isn't the planet around a farming planet?
The planet you're on is barely self-sufficient as far as agriculture goes. Um,
Oh,
they they don't have a whole lot. It says Elixabeth is give me trade codes. Trade codes. One will give me trade codes. I want to say it's non-industrial. Oh, yes, it is non-industrial. Requires outside technology to maintain a modern starfaring society. It produces enough agriculture in its agridomes in order for it to more or less feed themselves, but they're not actually even self-sufficient enough to really maintain their tech level. In order for them to maintain their tech level, they have to bring in outside exports. Their moderate tech level that they hold on the world is tech level 8. Obviously, richer individuals have access, such as Lord Blenderby. He has access to much higher technological levels, but the average person on Elixabeth doesn't have higher than tech level 8. So yeah, Dahlia holds Tarkine and Elixabeth, which is interesting, leaving Forine and Noctical in between, which they don't look like they're very attractive worlds themselves. Oh, Forine has a Class D starport, and Noctical has a Class E. So, yeah, it's
Okay, so why don't you guys talk to Magnus about probably medical supplies. They're more valuable, I assume. And then I'm gonna go see. I might not even find anybody willing to ship weapons. I can just not find anybody.
Remember, there is a military base on this planet too, I believe, of the Imperium.
Well, yeah, but I can't exactly stroll up to them and be like, "Hey guys,
well, there's a naval base in system.
Oh, there you go. Sorry.
So
right.
there probably would be a military presence on the Class B starport that's in Elizabeth, but most of that's going to be at the naval base, which is around the large gas giant, which is a ways away.
I mean, I would say, talk to people if you want, but I have very bad feeling about if we do this. I think it's best we just stick on our mission.
So yeah, the naval base orbits this large gas giant, so it's a ways out, at least 1 AU.
Okay, well, I believe it's a streetwise check to go talk to people, um, questionable people. Can I also like activate my telepathy? Like, well, okay, well, let's see if I find somebody first.
Okay, so Casimir takes off to go. I assume you're going to the starport because there's not really a whole lot of a populace or anything
Yeah.
higher than like a Class D facility on the planet. Most of that's going to be handled by the high port. So
Yeah,
Casimir takes off to go to the high port. And of course, you two can go with him. What's Zerzy and Audra doing?
Oh, well, Audrey would want to go talk to Magnus about going on a mission to help those people on that planet that are afflicted by the war to give them help
Okay.
and save the princess.
Okay. So you're heading towards the high port as well. Zerzy, what are you doing?
I will go talk to my buddy Kurtovos, the
Okay,
intelligence officer.
All three of you are going to the high port. So upon reaching the high port, Zerzy and Audrey head toward the docking berth for the scander, while Casimir goes around the port looking for the seediest establishments he possibly can find. Casimir, are you so for every 100 credits you throw at this, greasing palms, buying drinks, etc. For every 100 credits you get a +1 to your roll, up to say 300 credits, a +3 to your streetwise.
Right. Did we actually get paid for our mission yet?
I want to say yes. Blenderbeat paid these guys for their assistance in obtaining his solar sail yacht. You guys can add 500 credits to your personal account.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna spend let's go for 300 credits.
Okay. So yeah, you can make a streetwise plus social +3 for all the palms you're greasing.
Streetwise plus social plus as soon as my roll 20 works +3. Survey says a 9.
Okay. So you do find well, you get some information. The first piece of information that you find is that there have been pretty much all of the legitimate passenger liners that would head to Tarkine have canceled all their routes. That's not to say that there aren't ships heading that way. And you do find, you find 2 ships that are heading that way. The first is a subsidized. Find it. It is a subsidized liner. And the subsidized liner, the Mary Beth, is the captain is willing to entertain the idea with his crew of heading towards Tarkine. Now, subsidized liners, of course, are generally independently owned, and then they are kind of they hire on with passenger companies. So while they are usually a privately owned ship or leased ship, they have a modicum of independence that official liners don't usually have. So if he decides that he wants to carry passengers over to Tarkine, he certainly can. More than likely, he would take additional passengers, and he tells you this point blank. He would more than likely take additional passengers. He would make a stop at Tarkine in order to refuel at their Class C high port, and then probably continue moving on, which would leave you at Tarkine. So that's one option. Are you, as part of your streetwise, are you broaching the subject of possibly smuggling weaponry?
That is okay. So this is where I would like to use my telepathy.
Okay.
To basically make sure I'm not talking to a narc.
Right.
So,
You probably want to do
uh,
a read surface thoughts. So that
yep.
would be
Uh,
a psi plus telepathy, uh, and it will cost you 2 points.
yep. Honk. Services. Ooh, okay. Well, I get nothing.
Yeah, you're not getting anything from this guy.
Okay, well,
And
that's fine.
and he is sure to remind you. It by this point, it's not all over the news. There are some news reports that are starting to filter in that roughly 3 weeks ago, Tarkine suffered this rebellion. There was a coup. It is now under control of a junta. Blah blah blah, and he's up he's up on all of this, and he reminds you. He's like, I don't know that going to Tarkine is where you want to be, friend.
Well, I say, I mean, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach this circumspectly. I'll be like, well, listen, I'm an old naval guy. I'm an old soldier. If there's civil war, then I'm no longer with the military, and there's really only one thing I know how to do. So
Gotcha.
so I say so yeah, I say so I would be I say I'd be interested in that, and then I'd be interested in that, and of course my gear, and I'll let him pick up what I'm putting down.
Okay.
If he's gonna pick up on it, then good. If he's not gonna pick up on it, then it's not worth the risk.
Go ahead and make a persuasion plus social check.
Yeah, I don't believe I have persuasion, so that'll go well. Okay, persuasion it is then. Persuasion with social, no penalty. So I am at. Wait, do I have a chip? Let me double check. I don't think I have a chip for persuasion, but I might. Um, nope, I don't. Okay. Well, maybe I'll get boxcars.
Maybe.
No, I do not get boxcars.
So he he doesn't really pick up on what you're putting down.
Okay.
He tells you that I mean, he gives you the standard spiel. I mean, depending on what uh what steerage you want to travel under. Oops.
Whatever. I mean, the details don't matter. I don't actually care.
Yeah.
I'll make polite noise.
I
Yeah.
mean, under there we go. Under basic passage, you would be allowed 10 kilograms worth of cargo to bring with you.
Right.
Middle passage would bump that up to 100 kilograms, but would be considerably higher. And pretty
Right.
much high
But again, I
passage.
don't actually care because I have because I have no interest in this. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Should I keep looking?
Well, there is
You could talk to the other ship.
There is a second ship.
Yeah, let's go talk to that guy.
Maybe have better luck.
Find it.
Yeah.
It is an A2 hero class far trader. It is a A2 class hero or A2 hero class far trader that goes by the name the Convulsion.
That's the name that promises everything.
And the captain of the Convulsion is a woman, and she looks fairly rough and tumble. Not necessarily the space pirate type, but she could be a space pirate. She gives the impression that she spends a lot of time in the dirtier sections of a starport.
Okay, this one looks promising. So again, I'm basically I'm gonna do the same thing where I'll be like, yeah, terrible news, the terrible news about those poor people over in Tarkine, but I'm an old soldier, looking to and yeah, same thing, and I'm gonna try to read her mind, see if she's a narc.
Okay.
Uh, so aha, this one's a success.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, you scan her surface thoughts. Um, she does not. She's not a narc. And as you had kind of suspected from her appearance, you know that she kind of she kind of deals in um, the shadier side, and she has a uh, more lenient view of legal and illegal. You also, with your read service slots, know that she is planning, or from Elizabeth, she is planning to also head to Grote, and she is planning to then jump to Smaug, where she is believing that there is a location there that appears to be a what looks like a mercenary cruiser, and the only thought in her head is reaching Tamara's tavern.
Hmm. Okay, I'll note that. That there's a mercenary. Okay, cool. But anyway, but yeah. Because I'm getting the impression that she's more morally flexible. I'll be like, yeah. So listen, I'm an old soldier. If I was 10 years younger, I'd go down there myself and sell my sword and gun and combat suit to the highest bidder. But the joints are creaking. The reflexes ain't so sharp. So I'd like to facilitate younger men to sort of pass the torch, and by torch I of course mean, you know, um, things that spit fire or lead, if you will, or something like that. Is that something you think you could provide me?
So she her only question is, she says, how many of you are traveling, and how many tons of cargo space do you need for what you're taking? She does she she's careful to not specify what it is that you're carrying. She just wants to know
Right,
how many tons of cargo space you'll need.
right. And to that I'll say, we'd be traveling there in our own ship, but as far as how much, not much. We're talking standard trunk of a G car. No more than that. It's supposed to be a humanitarian mission because my boss is a bit of a bleeding heart, but what the boss don't know can't hurt him. Well, I mean it can, but that's a him problem.
Well, and she kind of laughs at that, and she says, "Well, the trunk of an air raft isn't going to really facilitate a whole lot of rebellion."
Well, yeah, and I say I'm not trying, and I'll say I'm not trying to facilitate or anything of that sort. I'm trying to simply find somebody to take something here and bring it over there. And what they do to it is at that point no longer really my concern. So basically what I'm trying, and what I say is I'm looking for cargo to move, not necessarily to move us with the cargo.
So she says, "I see." She says, "Well," and she pulls up her mobile comm, and she pulls up some information, and she flicks it over to your mobile comm, and it is an address. She
Mhm.
says, "Go see the gentleman here. He's on this high port." And she says, "But and they would be." You note that the address is next door to the Instel Arms uh, retail shop. Now, Instel Arms pretty much is known for they have a couple of different divisions. They supply a lot of travelers with typical, firearms, things of that nature. Their bigger arm, their bigger division is supplying mercenaries, and whatnot. And in order to purchase those from that division, you would have to have a license, a mercenary license. You would have to have a ticket with the Third Imperium in order usually to purchase from them. You notice that this is a apartment that is over a retail shop that is next door.
Right.
And she says, go talk to this gentleman. She says, I will tell you that he usually deals in larger cargoes. You could probably get him to a minimum of 1 ton if you play your cards right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And
she says, and she flicks her mobile again and puts her contact information on your mobile com. And
yeah, I say thank you.
She tells you, she says, as soon as you have a decision one way or the other, go ahead and contact me. Otherwise, by this time tomorrow, we will be disembarking from the high port and making our way forward.
Noted. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I'll go in.
Okay. So.
And I obviously let her keep her the 200 credits I spent.
Okay. Okay.
300. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was all part of it. Yes. So is your plan to go talk to this guy, or?
Well, no. I think now I need to talk to the other PCs to make sure that they're on board with this.
Okay. Well, you know that they went to the scanner.
Right. So I'm gonna let them. Basically what I'm saying is add a character. Let's switch to them, and then I'll find them.
Okay.
When they're done with their scene.
Okay. So you guys get aboard the scanner, Audrey and Zerzy, and so Audrey, you want to go have this discussion with Magnus, while Zerzy wants to go talk to Kurt Avos, the Sword World's naval intelligence officer that is secretly in air quotes, the guy that everybody knows is a fucking naval intelligence officer that is undercover. That guy. So which do you want to do first, or do you want to do it together? How do you want to do this?
I don't mind. Audrey can go first. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, that works.
Okay, so Audrey, you make your way to the bridge, and you see that in his office off the bridge. Let me up here. In his office, you find Magnus, and he's going over a number of. It seems like he's going over reports on the repairs of the shuttles, and basically taking inventory and stock of supplies aboard Scander. And you kind of knock on the door, and he tells you to come in, and he kind of looks up from his computer and tablets and whatnot. And he says, "Oh, Audrey, yes, come in."
Oh, Magnus, the people on Tarkine need help. We should bring them supplies, and our friend, his friend, is in trouble there, so he wants us to rescue her for him.
He says, yeah, I saw something about that. Go ahead, and Audrey can make a... Well, I think Audrey has some bonuses. Double check that. I forgot to bring that up. Yes, Audrey does have a +1 bonus. Actually, no, it's a +2 bonus. So, Audrey, go ahead and make a persuade plus social, and you get a +2 bonus.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. So, persuade.
Now,
Persuade social plus
if you don't have
2.
persuade, then it's untrained and you're at -3.
Hey.
Oof.
Oh no! Wait, did I do it right?
No, there's 2 pluses.
Oops, let me try again. So persuade. Okay, that is better.
So Magnus tells you, yes, he's heard about this little situation that's going on Tarkine, and he 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 says, so you have a friend who has a friend that is stuck on the world, and he says, what kind? He says, we'll put a pin in that. I'm sure that that's what led you to this meeting. But what kind of assistance are you wanting to bring to the people of Turkey?
Oh, well, they probably need food and medicine and water and
Yes.
fixing of their things.
So go ahead and make another persuasion check, and this time, in addition to your +2, you can change that +2. You can give yourself a +4 to this.
Okay, so click persuade, change it to +4.
Ugh, you rolled 2.
That's right. He's just got snake eyes.
Snake eyes. Ugh, rough. So he says, so Magnus he says, I can, I can, I can see where you're going with this, but um, there doesn't seem to be a lot of, um, there doesn't seem to be a lot of a profit to be made unless you are a arms merchant or something of that nature in helping these people, and it is the opposite direction of where we want to travel. I don't see an upside to Skander for traveling to Tarkine.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bother you, Magnus. And then Audrey walks out of the office with her ears and tail drooping.
Okay. So, Zerzi, you meet up with Kurt. He's in this common area as usual. Frequently, that's where he will be found. How are you approaching on this?
I'll just shoot him a text and say, "Come meet me in my quarters, please. We got to talk."
Okay. Okay.
So nobody sees me talk to him. I just walk by, a little text, and then just I walk to my quarters and wait for him to arrive.
Okay, so you head over to your quarters. I forget which one. Yeah, there you go. You head over to your quarters, and after probably a good 15 minutes, there's a knock on your door, and Kurt steps in, and he says, he shuts the door. He kind of looks down the corridor either way, and shuts the door and locks it. He says, so what is it that you need?
I walk up to him and shake his hand, just like, "You hear the news about that system to the south of us with the active rebellion?"
Space South.
I can't remember the.
It'd be Rimward. He says yes. He says yes. It's there are news reports starting to trickle in. Seems that 3 or 4 weeks ago there was a rebellion on Tarkine.
Do you think that Sword Wielders or Jordani are a part of this?
He kind of looks at you. He goes, "Well, I can tell you, um, with no no doubt that Sword Worlders are not involved."
I worry there's a chance that my empire may be involved.
He says that I wouldn't. He says I wouldn't put that past them. And he go ahead and make a you can make a diplomat plus social check.
8.
So he brings up he spends some time on his mobile comm, and he decrypts a folder and brings up some he brings up a star chart, and he shows you, he says, what I can tell you is that these ship movements from my last contact on the last world that we were on, I picked up, I believe that was at Nurton, while we were in port, uh, and you guys were doing your thrilling heroics on the main world. He says I picked up some information while I was in their or in their the refueling station, and what that information is, he shows you that there are a number of Jodani ships that are flying through the. Essentially, it's a demilitarized zone between the Jodani consulate and the um, and the Third Imperium. Let me. I don't remember if I did this or not. Let me double check. Maybe I did.
I remember you
Here we go.
showed us a map of like
Yes.
the
So
border or something.
So yeah, he shows you this area, the purple being the Jodani consulate, red being the Third Imperium. In this area, these independent worlds, and there's a main down here. Jodani ships have been moving into that area and through that area. And he says, on the flip side of that, he says there are reports of several large flotillas of Third Imperium naval ships heading in that direction as well. He says something's going on, and it seems like something may be about to come to a head.
Yeah, I figured that. But my 2 close crew members want to go to that rebellion planet and go and try to find a princess for the lord of the current planet we're on. I think it's a fool's errand. I think that we're just gonna get into a diplomatic nightmare if something bad happens.
He says, I wouldn't necessarily call it a fool's errand. In fact, I would think that it would be highly profitable, not necessarily in a monetary value, but um, there are factions on Turkey, and definitely, he says, good luck trying to get Magnus to do this. I mean, if you can convince Magnus that you're doing humanitarian aid, delivering medical supplies and whatnot, anything but weapons, then you might appeal to him in that regard. But I'm not talking about a profit to Skander or even a monetary profit to you, although there could be some. He says, but there could be a value to you and your group in contacts alone. He says, right now, what's going on Tarkine, if you are right that there are Jodani contacts, or that this was instigated by the Jodani consulate intelligence service, he says that there are undoubtedly contacts on that world that may be of value to you. Either not necessarily right now, but they could be of value to you in the future. So the Skandervik is not going to go on forever. Sooner or later, we're all going to be out of a job, and we're going to be looking for the next job. Says hopefully we make enough money that we can go independent and do our own thing. Doing so, you would be better off having contacts than you would going in bare.
One of my group is considering us bringing weapons to that planet.
Says, well, they will likely be very readily accepted, by those that are on the planet. From what I understand, much of the population are royalists, and they are not happy with the junta that has been put in place. They didn't want to be saved. They didn't want a rebellion. The majority of the population wanted things to continue as they were, which again kind of leads more to your thought that this was possibly not outside source. And it's not like, he says, let's be honest, it's not like the Zhidani haven't done this kind of thing before. He goes, so have the Third Imperium. If they can fight one another and use somebody else in a proxy to do it, that's exactly what they'll do. So, I mean, monetarily, you would make money, undoubtedly, by supplying weapons. The trick is going to be getting it past Starport Authority and whatnot. You'd have to learn some smuggling traits. So there's that. But monetary gain is not the only thing that you'll gain from this. You'll gain a lot of goodwill from the people that you hand these out to. More so if you just give it away.
My issue is I cannot bear arms against my own people, and I'm afraid that that's what it may come down to. And if that's the case, I can't do that.
He says, I find it highly unlikely that there are Zhidani forces on the planet.
Right, but even if there's like a intelligence officer overseeing everything, like
your
like
likelihood of interacting with him is probably fairly low. And
would it be better?
Even if you do have to interact with him, why would it? There's no reason to say that it would have to be a conflict or a violent conflict.
Just going off the past of the ship. I wonder. I have to ask this question, then I'll be done with you, Kurt. Would it not be a bad idea to just kill this princess and cause more chaos in the Imperium?
Well, she's not an Imperial.
No, but she's a princess of an Imperial client state.
Yes, but they're not. But she's not an Imperial, and she's Tarkinian, and Tarkine is only a protectorate. They are not a part of the Imperium. The only reason they're a protectorate is because the Third Imperium wants to keep their scout base there. That's really the only interest that they have in Tarkine.
Well, if I know my group, they're gonna want to go on this adventure, so I figured I'd try to gain some intel before I went, just in case I need to make any decisions. Thanks again. And
he does tell you. He says, I mean, I think that it would be in. He says there's a lot of upsides to this. Like I said, beyond monetary value, there are contacts that can be made here that could service you well into the future. It says, but I will also say that going into this situation, you'll want to be very careful and don't trust anybody.
I don't, trust me. But once again, Kurt, I appreciate the talk, and if you find more intel I could use, I'd love for you to send it to me, and if I find anything, I'll send it to you.
I'll keep an eye on it.
All right. After that, say goodbye and then go and find Audrey.
Okay, so you and Audrey meet back up just as Casimir comes aboard, and you kind of all meet up again in the mess or in the common area. And it must have been a while since we used this map because I don't see Casimir on here. That's okay. So the three of you meet up back in the common area and kind of compare notes. and so you are aware of what each of you did, and the information, so you can present your ideas to one another, and we can move forward from there. Of course, nobody has brought up the idea of you leaving for 3 weeks to go on this little junket with Magnus.
True. I didn't want to bring it up until we knew how to play.
Yeah, until we actually have like a plan. Assuming we have a plan. So Casimir says so. Sounds like Magnus isn't on board, but we do know that if we do wanna, sell weapons, we have a merc contact that's willing to do it. And knowing mercs, especially ones that own their own cruiser, I mean, that's pretty worthwhile.
I'm hesitant to do it. However, being in contact with black market stuff could help me with getting more hacking tools. And Kurt thinks it'd be a really good way for me to get some more contacts, just in general. So I'm reluctantly agreeing to go there, but I'm sticking with I won't do anything to jeopardize the Jordani consulate, though.
Again, I don't think it'll get to that, because if we are going to go with mercs, from what I hear about your people, they're not stupid, and they recognize that mercs will fight for, mercs fight for money, and they transport goods for money, and that, there's no, that there's never going to be any hard feeling. And for all we know, the mercs could already be bought by the Jordani. I mean, the hell, I don't know. So that's its own thing. If we want to assuage our consciences, I suppose we could bring some medical supplies with us, but
also we need to figure out with this weapons you were speaking about, who is paying for these weapons?
Well, it would have to be us pooling our resources together, maybe taking out a loan, that kind of thing.
Sounds like I will have to pay for these weapons.
Well, certainly. I mean, certainly, I am, of course, willing to put down. But like I said, I'm also going to just look for loan opportunities, that kind of situation.
The biggest thing that Kurt told me, and he's a fairly smart person, don't trust anybody on this planet. Even if they say they're helping us, even if we know that they may want to help us, they still may betray us instantly.
Well, then I say, well, then it's a good idea that at least two people here can read minds, huh?
Yeah.
So Casimir's has been open enough to tell Zerzi that he's...
Well, no, at this point, yeah. I mean, at this point, sure. At this point, he's just going to be open. I mean, this guy's a Jordani.
Okay.
So I say, yeah, there's at least two people here that can read minds. No, besides, he's he hasn't seen me, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And besides, we're already discussing to do something illegal here, so it's not like he can go snitch.
True.
All right, so I say so. Given that, we should be fine.
Okay, so Audrey, what do you just want to do, like humanitarian aid, or are you wanting to do lethal aid also? What are your thoughts?
Well, no, violence is bad. I want to bring help to the people there with the things that they need, like their food.
We could probably do both.
Yeah, but Audrey doesn't want to bring violence to them.
Well, no, but that's sort of that's the compromise that'll have to happen. We'll bring some amount of weapons and some amount of food, or medical supplies would be better, I think, honestly.
I forget why do we want to bring weapons?
Because they're extremely profitable.
You can tell Audrey the boxes have medicine in them, and she would believe you.
I mean, lead medicine.
Yeah.
or lasers or whatever.
50 cal aspirin, we call it. Yeah.
Freedom seeds.
That's a good one. That's good. I never heard that one before. That's great. Freedom seed. Wow, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. I say so. I guess we start looking for loan opportunities because I have a little just a little north of two grand to my name.
Audrey, how
Okay.
much money do you have?
Hold on, let me check. Audrey has $136,400.
Holy shit!
So Audrey can help me pay for him.
Well, how do people have so much money?
Yeah,
Holy shit!
How did Audrey get all that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how she has that much.
I might have put in an extra zero.
10,000 sounds more reasonable. I have a lot because I spent 20-something years as the third highest rank in diplomacy.
Right, you might have an extra zero there.
Okay, recalculating. I mean, 13,640.
I'll say
That
I have
sounds-
100.
that sounds
I have
possibly-
155,000.
That sounds possibly more accurate.
Right. Well, fortunately, loans do exist. I think. Actually, just out of character, do loans exist in the system?
They do.
Okay. So
Yeah, but the issue is, Kurt also said that if we brought stuff that is not humanitarian aid, aka weapons, you're probably not going to be able to sell them. You're probably going to have to give them away. So it's going to be a straight loss.
Oh, well, I don't want to do that. The whole point is to make money.
I mean, I don't really think that many of people are going to be buying weapons in the middle of a rebellion.
If they're having a rebellion, I think they will be.
Yeah, they're
Maybe
more than likely going to want guns.
Maybe
Oh yeah, everybody's going to want guns on both sides.
Maybe the junta will be able to pay for it, but I don't think the.
Well, the junta doesn't need to because the junta is in power
they
right
have
now,
the
so they have access to all of the military arms that the royals had to begin with.
Well, hold on. I say okay. You say you don't want to deal with fight against the Jadani, and I have no warm feelings toward the Imperium. Do you know which side the Jadani are on?
Well, I don't know, as in I have evidence. The way that this went down is similar to things that I may or may not have seen or heard or done or whatnot.
Sure, but yeah. So if you were a betting man, where would you bet the Jadani are?
They would probably be with the junta. Because they
So-
would have wanted to overthrow
The
the monarch.
Right. Well, that's reasonable, but then I guess they don't want weapons. They want. What do they want?
I don't know that the junta really wants for much of anything.
Well, yeah, because they're the ones in power.
Right, they're the ones in power.
Shit.
I'm
mean,
willing to just.
As tenuous as that grasp on power might be, I mean, a junta does not have a firm grip
Well,
on
no.
power. But, regardless,
Yeah.
9/10 of the power and all of that.
No. Because I'm reluctant.
I'm willing to just go just to see what happens, because if
Well,
anything,
no. I mean, if it's gonna be a financial loss for us, I am now against it. But
I mean, there's a lot of risk because, like I said, while this is not imperial space that we're going to be going through or even being at, there's a good chance the Imperials may stop us, considering the fact that, like, hey, why is this merchant cruiser going towards a planet in open rebellion?
Well, we're not. No, I say we're not going to be taking on ship because, as far as I understand, Magnus said that he has just no interest in going there.
Right. This is just
Right.
a A2
We
far
would need
trader.
a different ship.
Right.
The other ship, like.
Right.
If you were in Imperial's position, and it's like this planet has a rebellion going on, and this merchant ship or whatever is flying there, wouldn't you want to check it?
Well, I mean, certainly, but I also assume that these people are going to be reasonably competent. I also know that, I mean, look, if we don't want to take a risk, I mean, that's fine, absolutely. But if we never take any risks, we never make anything of ourselves.
Well, let's give it a try, and I'm just curious to see what happens.
All right, so I'll call that guy and make an appointment for us.
Okay.
Well, we should also need to talk to Magnus and get the time off, but that should be quick and easy.
Yes, he doesn't own us. So.
Audrey, we're bringing humanitarian supplies.
Yay! That makes me happy. She wags her tail.
So you are bringing humanitarian supplies?
I mean, I don't know how much cargo can that trader hold for us.
No idea. No idea. We'll find out. Maybe we will bring some medical. Maybe we will bring some.
I can tell you that normally they have a total of 65.5 tons of cargo.
Okay. Oh no, I do know. You said it's an A2, an A-frame, A2 A-frame, whatever, something like that.
It's an A2 hero class far trader.
Right, there you go. Right. So I say that one of those.
200 tons.
Right. It ain't much, but she's got to where it counts. Which is to say 65 tons of cargo, but we're not going to get that much, of course.
Right. Well, at least be bringing a ton of fun. And we'll go from there.
Just a ton of fun.
All right. So I will place the call then and be like, hey, a mutual friend by the name of whatever her name was, told us to speak with you. Can you pencil us in for an appointment?
And so you actually get the guy's voicemail, and after you leave your message, and after 20 minutes or so, you get a text message back that says to swing by. If he says the text message, if you talk to the captain of the what do we say?
The spasm.
The convulsion.
The convulsion.
If you talk to the captain of the convulsion, then she vouches for you. Go ahead and stop by as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's be off.
Okay. So you make your way back into the high port and make your way over to this retail shop. And at this point, it would be considered fairly early in the morning, like probably 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And so most of the concourse shops and restaurants and tavern, a couple of the bars are still open, but most everything else is shut down, and there's very few people around. In fact, the Instel Arms shop is closed. They open again at 8 a.m. And so there is an outside kind of rickety stairwell that goes up to this door of a apartment that is over the building next door. And that is the address. And you kind of make your way up there and knock on the door. And the door opens just a crack. And you hear a male voice say, "Yeah, what can I help you with?"
Oh, we got a text message.
And he shuts the door, and you hear a rattling of a door chain. And he opens the door and he says, "Come on in." And he kind of leads you in. The apartment is scummy. Like, most of the entries are missing doors, and instead they have blankets that are held up on tension bars. The in several spots, the only the drywall is showing. There's no kind of texture over the drywall. It's just there. There are paint swatches that are missing. The place is a dump. And he leads you back, and in one corner, there's a side room that probably was a bedroom. There is a makeshift desk set up with a ton of high-tech computer equipment and like 9 different displays and a VR headset. This is like tech level 15 computer shit.
I elbow Zerzy in the ribs. And go, check it out.
The kitchen, which is directly across the hall, looks like a complete disaster area, and all of you can make a recon plus intellect check.
Recon intellect can
Yes.
do.
My God.
Wow.
It's only like crap.
That was... Casimir accidentally pokes out an eye.
Yeah, apparently.
Casimir looks in the kitchen as aghast at what an absolute shit show it is.
Are you rolling, Audrey?
Oh, we're all there together?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's see. Roll skills. Recon.
I'm just like staring. I look at everything, but I stare at the computer.
Audrey notices nothing.
Yeah, Audrey is assailed with the horrible scents that are emanating from the kitchen. It's just piled high with dirty dishes. There's a dishwasher. It's open and empty. Everything else is just piled on the counters and in the sink. And but Zerzy, as you're walking in, you look to your left, and there is the curtain is kind of askance, allowing you to look into what should be the living room. And there is a single lamp in there that has no shade on it, so it's just bare light. And in there, you see that there are a number of crates, and several of these crates are open, and you can see that they are not only are they filled with the shredded cardboard that is used for packing, but you can see that there are a number of weapons that are there. Some of these, I mean, most of these weapons would be considered military weapons to your eye.
But
and you also,
and then
with your 9, you also see that the side of the crates are stamped. They're not stamped with Instel arms. They are stamped with shit. It is it's on the tip of my tongue. Trojan hardware.
Okay.
In fact, come on. Yeah, they're stamped with Trojan hardware, and there seems to be their logo looks like the top of a chess piece of a knight, the horse.
I see that, then I immediately spin right back around to the high-tech computers. Let's go.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about this stuff.
This is he says it's a personal hobby of mine. I use it so that I can, maintain contact with the data stream. But anyways, so Captain of the Convulsion sent you, which means that you probably want to buy arms.
And maybe some extra hacking equipment if you have some.
Hardware of both types. Let's call it.
Well,
I will let Zerzy do most of the talking, but I'll occasionally interject with a clever comment.
I mean, I'm more of the diplomatic administrative guy. I'm not really the bartering kind of person.
Oh, me neither. I fucking no. I got nothing. So this will go over well.
I do have a lot of money though to throw at problems and make them disappear.
Well, superpower in of itself. But yeah, I mean,
okay, let me bring this
Like
up.
he's gonna try to list off like all these high tech weapons. I'm gonna just be like, I want your hacking software.
Well, they're not. And he says so. He says they're the stuff that I've got currently available. I wouldn't say would be considered high tech weaponry, but they'll get the job done. And he tells you that he has 1 ton, which basically comes out to 5 of these things, and they are packages. And this is what is included in a infantry weapons package.
so again,
So
it's
they're all
180
tech level
kilograms.
8.
Okay.
Because they're a little bit, lower tech level, but essentially the I came into possession of these, and I've been trying to offload them. Essentially, Trojan Hardware is a competitor of Install Arms. Essentially, these packages are designed to either outfit a security force for like a colony or an installation, or they can be delivered to a situation where you want the local populace to be able to rise up on their own.
We have things to do. I'll try to make this quick. I need each of these packages is 180 kilograms.
Right, 5 at a
I
time.
need 5 packages. If you'll also throw in, do you happen to have anything better than like Intrusion 2 software?
Let's see.
Because I like bundling. Bundling makes me happy.
Yes, the problem is that your computer is tech level 12.
Uh-huh.
So Intrusion 3 is tech level 13. It requires 3 bandwidth. That's not to say that your computer can't run it. It's just that it's going to run it a little slower. But yes, he does have that. Normally, Intrusion 3 would run you 100,000 credits.
We'll come back to that.
So he tells you, he says if you're gonna buy all 5 of these, if you're gonna buy a ton's worth of these packages, technically it comes out to like 5.5, but you're not gonna saw one of these in half. So that's going to run 37,500 credits.
Yep.
He says I would be willing, if you wanted to pay a little extra, I'd be willing to sell you Intrusion 3 for an additional 25,000 credits.
So, how about we just let's. So it's 62.5. Let's just make. I'll tell you what. I'll be generous and just make it even 63,000.
This is okay. He says that could work. He says if you're going to make it an additional 63,000, that he would be willing to he'd be willing to add in
Thanks, Audrey.
Ew, gross.
I'll pay for this, guys, but you guys can pay me back some other day.
He says that he would be willing to throw in Decryptor 3 as well.
Deal.
Okay. So you can upgrade your software to Intrusion 3. That's tech level 13. And Decryptor 3, which is tech level 14. You know, as he gives you the wafer with the programs on it, and you note that the wafers are stamped with Imperial intelligence, Third Imperium intelligence.
In for a penny, in for a pound, I guess.
So yes, these weapons packages you get in 180 kilogram box. An assault rifle, assault carbine, marksman rifle, support weapon, light anti-armor weapon, a multi-mode mine, anti-armor, anti-personnel, frag grenade, smoke grenade, a comms headset, comms command unit, 30-round capacity rifle mag, 70-round capacity drum magazine, and an ammunition crate with 1,000 rounds, all in one package. That's one box. You're going to get 5 of these.
Cool. I have enough guns to start my own army, but
pretty much, yeah.
Try to sell them.
So you're going to pay him the amount.
Yep.
Okay. So you pay the man, and he says, "Where should I have you guys take?" He says, "I'm assuming that you are going to be aboard the Convulsion. Should I just have them delivered directly to her?"
Does she respond? I send her a text.
Okay. So you are confirming that you do want to hire her. She tells you that. She tells you, of course, passage aboard the Convulsion is not going to be, it's not a luxury liner, but
economy class.
Yeah, I mean, you guys will be sharing. At least 2 of you will be sharing a room, and the third person will be. I don't know. There's actually enough. Yeah, no, there's enough. You guys each get your own passenger room, and she says, with the 1 ton of cargo space, you're looking at 200 credits per person, plus an additional 500 credits for the 1 ton.
I'll cover that, just to make things fair.
Does Clanker cost anything to come with me?
Oh, yes, it would. That would he would take because he's not going to be taking up any environmental services. She'll only charge you 100 credits for Clanker.
Okay.
Right.
Can Audrey pay the captain to allow us to bring on more cargo?
You can. What more does Audrey want to bring?
Oh, Audrey would want to go to a food warehouse and buy food.
Okay.
To bring that as cargo.
Okay, so let me take a look here. Let's see. You're wanting just standard, typical food?
Standard.
Common consumables are going to run you around 500 credits per ton. How many tons of space. How many tons did you want to buy? If you want to buy common consumables, they're at 500 per ton. Medical supplies are going to run you closer to 50,000 per ton.
50,000?
Now, if you're just, I mean, this is like typical medical supplies, which would have diagnostic equipment, basic drugs, possibly cloning technology. If you want just, basic drugs and medical packages, we can drop that to 10,000 per ton. Because you don't need cloning equipment.
Oh no, just first aid kits. So, I guess 1 ton of food, 1 ton of medicine, and then however much it costs to have it as cargo on that ship.
So she would charge you for another 2 tons. She would charge you 1,000 credits.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Audrey's happy because we're bringing them food and medicine, and she thinks that the hardware boxes are full of hammers and screwdrivers.
Yes, and spare screws that are all they all come from the leftovers that you find in IKEA packaging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for Christmas we got our cats a new cat tree, and we got done putting the whole thing together, and I shit you not, there must have been like 10 bolts left in the bag, and I'm like, do they just grab a scoop and fill these things and just?
No, yeah, absolutely. They absolutely include spares. Yeah.
I don't think that they even
Yeah,
bothered
because
to
you
count them.
lose at least one.
These were huge. I don't know how I would lose it. I mean, if I lost it and ran over it with my vacuum cleaner, it would destroy the vacuum. I mean, they were enormous bolts. I'm like, I mean, I shit you not. There must have been 8 to 10 of them left in the bag. I'm like, I do I throw these out? What do I do with these? Oh, whatever. But so yeah, you guys. So Audrey goes and gets a ton of medical supplies and a ton of consumables, just standard protein packs, food, and you guys have a ton of these infantry weapons packages, and they will be delivered to the Convulsion. So it is a J2. The Convulsion is a J2, and she can leave whenever you are ready.
Audrey's
Well, now we
ready.
need to talk to Magnus about, our.
Oh yeah, we have to straighten that out.
Okay, so you're going to go back to the scanner, talk to Magnus.
We could always just text him or whatnot.
You could. I mean, it's up to you however you want to do this.
Audrey would want to tell him in person.
Yeah.
Give me just a second. Kind of flying by the seat of the pants here. So I am generating deck plan. Yeah. Perfect. Damn, how good. All right. So you guys are going to go and talk to Magnus. Once
Mhm.
again, you find him uh, in his office on the bridge, and he seems to be in kind of a foul mood. And he, as soon as you come in, he says, "Ah, there you are." He says, "Ah, this is this is a pain in my butt." He says, "It looks like the ships, the shuttles are going to take an additional 4 days. They had to order additional parts from the naval base, and so we'll have Imperial parts in our shuttles. Can you believe that?"
Yes.
Well, if they are made, why is it a problem? If they are made well.
Well, they're Sword World ships, and I'll have to have those parts completely taken out and replaced as soon as we get back into Confederation space. I won't have Imperial parts in good Sword World's vehicles.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to help the people of Tarkine.
He says, I thought we already discussed that.
I mean, in a different ship.
He says, well, what do you mean?
Well, Casimir and Jersey talked to a captain who says that they are flying there, and they have cargo space for us.
He says, oh, so are you leaving Skander, or are you just taking a
No, we
furlough?
are going to go do that, and then we'll come back here to work for you more,
He says, oh, okay.
because the shuttles don't work.
He says, well, and he kind of calculates it real quick. He says, you're probably at minimum looking at about 3 weeks. He says, we're going to be here an additional 4 days. He says, we can go ahead and lay over here for a bit longer. He says, perhaps there's some trade to be done coming through that I'll handle, and we can. The scanner will wait for you to return.
Thank you,
You have
Magnus. You are the best captain.
he says you three have garnered plenty of goodwill, not just with me but with the crew, and so I really feel that that you have earned any additional time available to you, and I have to commend you that I think your willingness to help the people of Tarkine and your friend is commendable.
I like to help people.
Okay, so he gives you guys the time, and he'll wait here at Elizabeth for you.
Awesome. Well,
You
thank you.
have to
Thanks,
put
Captain.
help in quotes.
Yeah. Uh, all right. Let's make our way over to the convulsion.
Okay, let me.
Yes.
Yep, now we're ready to fly away on that ship.
There's a name that doesn't promise much of fucking anything. But yeah, I mean, I paid for our board. You paid for the food cargo. I paid for the weapons cargo. So, I mean, hardware. So yeah, let's.
So you guys make your way over to the docking bay for the convulsion. You see the captain kind of standing outside. This is the typical stats for an A2 far trader. She's not fast. She's only thrust 1 with J2, but probably the next to there are three ships that are the most commonly seen in all of charted space. The first, of course, being the Suleiman class Scout. Everywhere you go, you're going to see a Type S Scout, or a Suleiman class. The other ship that is second most common actually shares the exact same frame, and they look almost identical from the outside. Is the Beowulf class free trader? The difference between the Beowulf class and the Hero class is that the Hero class has J2, while the Beowulf free trader is only a jump 1. So they're kind of limited to being on a main unless they come up with some other means, such as fuel bladders, things of that nature that can extend their jump range. But these things are turned out by the millions a year, all across charted space. There is nothing special about this one. The interior looks like it's probably a little bit older, and I will show you what the interior looks like. Drag this over. I just made it, now I have to find it. So this is the A2 Far Trader deck plans. And you guys can pick where you want. Well, where you want to be. And the captain tells you, if you're ready to leave, they will get underway immediately. And so
body's ready.
As your cargo is loaded, I mean, 3 tons of cargo being loaded doesn't take hardly any time at all. In fact, I want to say, yeah, they've got a cargo crane, so 3 tons of cargo is nothing to load onto onto a Far Trader. These these are actually external cargo bay doors. They are not airlocks. So if these doors are opened and you're in vacuum, then the entire cargo hold is depressurized. But aside from that, it takes almost no time at all. And within the hour, the captain of the Far Trader, the Convulsion, is leaving the high port and is making for the 100 diameter, or yeah, the diameter limit in order to prepare jump. And within a short amount of time, probably about 8 hours, to get to the jump limit, and then you see that the lights kind of dim inside for a minute, and you feel that kind of sinking feeling, that almost nauseating feeling of entering jump. Now, normally that nauseating feeling tells you its level of severity tells you how well aligned the jump drive is and how well maintained it is. This doesn't seem like it's a terrible feeling. I mean, in a perfect world, there would be no feeling at all if a jump drive was perfectly aligned all the time. None of you have ever served on any ship, even in the military, that ever had a perfectly aligned drive. So there's always some kind of nauseating feeling. This one doesn't seem like it's super bad. It could probably do with a bit of maintenance, but within 8 hours, you guys have entered jump space and are on your way to Tarkine. For your first jump. So, and let me check. There they are. Yeah, that's what I thought. Boo. Well, I will make a token for it next week so that we can track where you're at. But the first jump is going to take you to Noctical, where they will do some wilderness refueling at the gas giant there. So you guys can add a week to your study time on whatever it is that you are studying.
I'm at my 16th week for diplomacy finally.
You can go ahead and make a diplomacy plus education check.
Education?
Yes.
Ugh. And what happens if I fail this?
Then you lose 8 weeks.
Never mind, I did great.
You passed it, no problem. Your diplomacy goes up.
Yay.
So you went from 1 to 2?
Yep.
Excellent. Anybody else close?
Nope.
I think it's only me because how long I've been here.
No, I'm only at 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, yeah, they let's see, how bumpy of a ride is this? Not that bumpy at all. I mean, wilderness refueling at a gas giant is always a bit harrowing. There's some shaking and rattling that goes on, but doesn't seem like there's any problems. They climb out of the gas giant, and once again, they make their jump to the final trip to Tarkine. You can add another week to study period.
Ooh.
So what is the new thing that Xerxes going to study?
Bartering.
Bartering?
Yeah.
You want to take broker?
Yeah, whatever it is for helping with buying and selling.
That would be broker.
Since I'm essentially the face, the admin, and the computer guy.
Yeah. Broker's definitely a good one. One that you should also heavily consider is raising gun combat.
I'll let the young people deal with that.
Yeah,
If I
those are
die,
famous
I die.
last words.
I'm old. If my character dies, I die. It'll be exciting if I die.
So we will begin next week with you guys arriving in Tarkine. In fact, I can show you the Tarkine system now. And I will make a token for the convulsion and have that ready for you guys next week.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are
Thank
very
for
welcome.
running, Fun Slash.
All
I
right.
agree. See everyone next week.
Yep. I will see you guys next week. Have a good night, guys.
Good night. Thanks for running. Bye-bye.